Guys, what's good? This is Dean Marino One here, and I just got off of a long day at work, and I feel like talking. Um, Sorry about my last video. I made a 7 minute long video, but it couldn't upload anywhere, so I made like a shitty video on my phone to try to fix it, and it just sucked balls. But anyway, I just want to talk about what it was like for me growing up and how it made me a different person than than I was like 6 months ago. Um, so, as you may know from my other videos, I got kicked out of my house 6 months ago, maybe seven or so. I don't know. It was like May of last year because I was having trouble with my parents because they thought I was like a drug addict, but I was only smoking weed with my friends and chilling and doing what normal teenagers do. But she assumed that I was gonna become nothing with myself and everything, and it just kind of I had to get out of there anyway because I was being treated disrespectfully by my stepfather. But it doesn't matter, like I'm not talking about that. When I was, I think like 2 months after I got kicked out, I just became really depressed. I'm like, well, I grew up in my hometown and I just got kicked out, so what am I going to do with my life? And I really thought that I was gonna do nothing, so I contemplated maybe like hurting myself or doing something stupid. It was bad. Just because whenever you're home alone all day, every day, like I was in the summertime, you have a lot of time to think to yourself. And all I know is that it was not a good time for me, and I'm happy that this summer's over and I have a good solid job and good people to support me. But it's just like I know life is rough, guys, okay? It's not fair. And if you think that it's fair, it's either you grew up in a family that had too much money to than humanly possible, or you just are a fucking ignorant person because no matter what, there's always gonna be someone who's trying to get you down, and there's always gonna be someone to try to make you feel worse than you are and make you feel bad for what you've done. And let me tell you, first off, it's not about what you've done, it's where you're going, okay? And I'm telling you firsthand, and I have all the experience in the world, you can change the road you're on. And as my favorite band, Led Zeppelin, stated in one of the most famous songs in history, Stairway to Heaven, there is still time to change the road you're on. And I'm 18 years old, and I was 17 this summer, and I thought my life was over. Isn't that just obscene? I have so much time ahead. I still have college. Like, granted, I'm going to community college, but it's better than nothing, right? It goes on. You know, if there's one thing I learned in all the years that I've lived, which aren't many, like 18, I've I can sum up life in 3 words right now, and it changed my life when I first heard this. It goes on. Life goes on, guys, and you might think it's the end of the world if like something happens, like a girlfriend breaks up with you or whatnot, but I assure you, everything does get better in time. Just like when I got kicked out, I thought my mom was never gonna allow me back at my house. I thought it was fucking the plague there. And guess what? Like my mom told me yesterday that I'm allowed back after Christmas this year. So that's pretty cool. And because I live like 45 minutes away from my school, so I get up every morning at 5 a.m. and I leave around 6, and it sucks because I live fucking 45 minutes. It might not seem like a lot, but it's a long drive. I'm putting probably like $60 a week on gas, which is pounding me in the butt. But like, thankfully, I have a good girlfriend who kind of helps out with that. Um, Not really anymore. Like this summer, my girlfriend supported me so much, and I'll love her until the day I die for that. I would ask for like $15 in gas, and not even a question asked, she gave me like 20, and it got to the point where I would say no to her giving me money, but she'd just do it anyway because she knew I needed it. I felt bad always asking, so I never did, but she just like put it on me, and she's like, you can't deny a gift. And you know what, looking back, I can honestly tell you she is the right girl for me, and I'm fucking gonna marry that girl. But that's not even what I'm talking about. Why am I talking about myself right now? This is about my experience. It's not about my fucking life story. Jesus Christ. Life goes on, guys, and no matter what, you're gonna have some hardships, but you're gonna get back up from where you were. Okay. I'm driving 45 minutes, and when I go back to my mom's house, it'll be like 5 minutes, like it was normally. But I also can't like smoke weed whenever I want to. But you know, I've gotten to the point in my life where I don't need weed anymore. Like, it just makes me feel tired, you know? I think I definitely abused it this summer because, let's be realistic, it's definitely very possible when there's nothing else you can do besides, like, play video games and, like, go out and have fun. Like, whenever you're home alone for days on end, like, blazing makes the day go by quicker. And I definitely smoked way too much this summer. And probably like 2 weeks ago, maybe three, I don't know. I was talking to this guy, and he told me how when he was younger he got arrested and he got his license taken away. He couldn't go to school because of it, like college, and it ruined his life for the time being. He later went on to go to college. He said like 10 years later or so. But thinking back, what I was doing with it, I was just being dumb, and the risk of having it and getting caught is definitely not worth the reward. If I ever get drug tested at work, I'm definitely gonna get screwed. So, and I like my job so much, so fuck that. It's time to grow up, you know. Uh, when I was first starting, I thought I would never be able to stop. I could not go through a day without smoking, and that's always rough because you have to, and you have to make time out of your day to try to do it, and do it in risky places like I was doing it, and you're just bound to get caught. I mean, I got caught a while ago, and I haven't gotten caught since, but because I've learned a lot from my mistakes. Like, I'm not just like a repeat offender, you know, but still, like, it's fucking not worth it, man. Like, my boss tried to force his way in my car because he thought I was smoking in my car. Like, it's just fucked up, you know. Um, so my experience, once I stopped smoking weed, I felt a lot better about myself. I started working out again. I'm telling you, working out makes you naturally high as fuck, and it makes you feel great about life. Um, I started being more upbeat, more energetic. I could actually do stuff now, and like I wasn't lazy just sitting there all day. I enjoy work when I'm not stoned, surprisingly, because I actually like to talk to people now, and I get into good conversations about like different topics depending on the person, and I'm just loving life a lot more, like seeing it in a clearer perspective, you know? I don't see the point in doing any hard drugs. I was never really into that. I've done acid once, that's about it, and I just don't find it necessary. But either way, when I first moved to Union, I really thought that my childhood was over. And that makes me so sad because when I was a kid, I could just play Xbox for like 4 hours long and not be like I did not need weed to make me happy then. Like, I would get naturally high from doing things I love to do, you know, like going outside and like playing basketball with my friends or something, or like taking a jog. Like, all that stuff made me feel so great. And like, I would always have the chance to smoke when I was like a freshman and younger, and I would every once in a while. Like, I would never go actively looking for it, just because like the people who I hung out with, who I still hang out with now, smoked then, but I could still hang out with them and not be high because like I thought that I was having enough fun as it is. I told everybody that I was naturally high and I couldn't get high before I started. That was pretty embarrassing, but I feel a lot better, okay? And honestly, all I'm gonna say is, if you're in my position where you feel like you have no chance in like making a name for yourself or doing anything great, you still have time, trust me. I'm not saying I'm gonna be great at anything. I might just be like an average working married man. Like, who knows? But you know what? With me, I'm cool with that. I don't need anything more. I don't need to be a millionaire. You know, like, I can find happiness in the small things in life. But anyway, I keep rambling on. So when I was younger, I used to like love everything in life. I used to be so happy, and all the things that used to make me happy then, I started doing when I first moved to Union because I was so sad all the time. Like, I didn't have an Xbox for like 2 months, and then when I finally got it, I was like so overwhelmed with emotion because I thought it was gonna be as much fun as it was when I was in like 8th grade and like Halo 3 days. And like, it's a time waster and it's entertaining, but I don't have that same feeling where I feel like, oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm like, I'm not gonna skip out on hanging out with friends to go play Xbox, you know. Um, I I resorted to drinking a lot this summer, and that just made me more depressed. But being a kid is fucking awesome, man. Like, you don't have to worry about ever drinking or anything. Like, you could just fucking love yourself and love everyone around you for no reason. And people didn't question you as to why you're so happy all the time. I actually get that a lot at work. Whenever I'm like really upbeat and like smiley, people ask me like, how are you so happy you're working? I'm like, that's just how I am. I don't like to see the down aspects of life. Like, I might as well be happy and pretend everything is okay than to actually show my sadness, because who likes someone who's sad, you know? um and I just miss, the one thing I miss most in life is knowing that, or thinking that I was like absolutely loved, you know? Like, my parents were always so like affectionate with what they were doing, and I would always feel like, wow, I was actually doing something great for once. And now I don't feel that way, but I also think that's part of growing up, you know? You have to kind of leave behind all those things that are fake in life, like feeling affection from parents, and that's not fake. Like, I'm just talking on my behalf. Like, you kind of have to just like do stuff that you wouldn't normally do when you're a kid, you know? Like, actually manage your own money and shit. And it was a rough transition for me, because personally I never did any of that stuff before I moved away. Like, I had my mom pay off my car insurance. I'd give her like $30 a week, but like she'd have to ask me. And I fucking realized that once I had my own car insurance plan and those checks were coming in, I didn't have any money. And I realized that like it's just time to grow up, and with growing up comes losing all of those childlike innocence, you know, and like loving the days when everyone believed in you and you believed in the world as well, and everything was all optimistic, and like all that shit. It's not real. Like, everyone's sad, I can honestly say, because I thought before I moved that depression wasn't even, it was just something that people use as an excuse to sit home and like do Percocets all day or something. I don't even know if Percocets are used to treat depression, but seems right, right? But I never knew what depression was until I moved, and I realized through my depression that there is an ultimate happiness, and that happiness is just being accepted and just loving life, you know? Like, when's the last time you guys honestly walked out and just took a walk for no reason? Like a 2 mile walk around the block or something for no reason, and just enjoyed nature? I mean, I didn't do that for like 2 years until I moved here, and then I was just like, you know what? It makes me feel good to be one with nature. So I would take nature walks all the time, and that would make me feel better. And there are all these things in life that make me feel great, but nothing makes me feel as good as knowing that there is gonna be an end to all of this. It might seem far away because most of the people watching this video are young, but there's an end to everything. And the end comes with a lot of years of reminiscing on the good times. You don't really look at the bad times that much. And in the end, I want to be known as the kid who gives people the best time, you know, and the most amount of time spent smiling. And if that means being a little sad at my own time and doing all that shit, then that's cool with me, you know? But in the meantime, I'm sorry for making this video so long. I'm a rambling man, and like, I wouldn't be surprised if you unsubscribed when you saw this, but yo, I still love you guys to death. And this is Dina Marina 1 here. I'm fucking tired. It's like 11:30 and I work all day and go to school in the morning. So I'm fucking out, guys. Take it easy.